Again, defensively, it's been a strength for this Volunteer side. Dean Curley back in the lineup. That's a talented freshman shortstop. Had to leave the game early Sunday. Was hit by a pitch in the helmet. You could see the black eye he's still wearing.
Yeah, we weren't sure if we were going to see him today. Coach Vitello said that they were going to be taking baby steps with him after getting a concussion and obviously a black eye, swollen face. It's not something easily overcome, but I think that just speaks to his toughness wanting to be out there.
1-2 to Nathan Archer, backwards punch out as A.J. Causey dominates here at the top of the first.
It doesn't get much better than that, A.J. Causey.
But he's certainly going to have his hands full. This is a Tennessee offense that looks to be the true strength of this team, top to bottom. A lot of power, 17 home runs, that's 16th in Division I.
This lineup does provide so much power and so much consistency for this Tennessee offense.
It starts right at the top with Christian Moore. 4 for 9 last weekend against UAlbany. Coming off a midweek game where he did not get a hit for the first time this season, but he's about as consistent as it gets. True leader in his third year as a Volunteer now.
And that's what you want from your leadoff. You want consistency at the plate, someone who's able to see a lot of pitches and also get on base.
304 hitter last season with 17 home runs, 50 RBIs, sitting at 406 on the average line to start the year. We'll get his first look at Newman. Off speed, just misses that time.
Yeah, that was a close pitch. I'd say just maybe a little too high in the zone.
3-2, got more swinging. Both starting pitchers on a roll to start here in inning number 1.
Movement on that pitch, absolutely ridiculous. Gets more swinging and missing for the first out of the game. We had talked previously at the beginning of this game about how DJ Newman is probably going to be very similar to pitchers that this Tennessee lineup is going to see later on in SEC play. Just a high-quality pitcher, true athlete. It's going to be difficult.
Yeah, Tony Vitello very aware of how talented DJ Newman is. I mean, this is a guy that you can put up there with the Jack Caglione, maybe one of the brighter two-way players in the country. That's just all he knows how to do. Every time he pitches, he hits. It's just natural for him. Did it all through high school, all through travel ball. So doing it here at this level is just second nature. 3-0 start here, though, to Blake Burke. Hits the zone that time with the fastball. Bowling Green is on a Tennessee tour. This is their third straight weekend here in the state of Tennessee. They were at MTSU and then at Memphis to start the season. A pair of series in which they were really a few outs away from winning both. They got 1 of 3 each of those first 2 weekends, but a couple of one-loss games where they had late leads slip away. 3-2, Burke high chopper, first base side. Birchmeyer flip over to the athletic Newman, round number 2. Falcons from Kyle Halleck, and the fielding percentage .966 to start the year. Now Billy Amick gets his first at-bat. Amick, the transfer from Clemson, dynamic bat, 306, average to start the year, 4 home runs and 13 RBIs.
Amick, a huge get for this Tennessee team. Coach Vitello said that he's happy to see him in the right color, orange, instead of that Clemson orange. Such a dynamic player, offensively and defensively, already with 4 home runs so far.
Yeah, Tennessee got a good look at him at the Clemson Regional, went head-to-head with the Tigers. One of the best games in all of baseball last season, and was One of the best hitters for that Tigers team, and now he comes to Knoxville, and man, he is one of the Vols' best hitters. That is a no-doubt home run. Billy Amick puts Tennessee on the board.
Home run number 5 for Billy Amick, and he hit that almost over the party deck in left field. What a rocket.
An absolute bomb. Billy barrels. He's ready for the weekend.
This pitch was elevated, and Amick, he knows right off the bat that that pitch is gone. It's hard to see, but I mean, it does. It lands right there at the very back of the party deck. A few more feet and that thing would have been over.
Yeah, so much power in that bat of Billy Amick. The wind was profusely blowing in Tennessee's midweek game Tuesday against High Point. He still managed to get a home run over the wall. Both him and this guy here, Kavaris Tears, maybe two of the best power bats on this team. As Kavaris Tears is trying to chase down Billy Barrels at home run. He's got 4. Amick now with 5.
I feel like there's a little bit of a healthy team competition in that, going back and forth between home runs.
Tears will go down quickly, though, as DJ Newman bounces back, but Billy Amick puts Tennessee on the board 1-0 after 1. 48 runs so far this season, and that's their most in a 6-game stretch to start the season since 05. And here is Ross, first pitch of the inning. He's left the building. Again, offense gonna be the strength for the Falcons, and that was a big bomb from Tyler Ross.
Wow, home run number 11 for the Falcons. Starting things off, tying it up. Ross, absolute shot, Oppo. It's a nice pitch by Causey. Ross just able to get to the barrel.
After striking out the side, first 3 batters, A.J. Causey sit down on strikes. Tyler Ross picks things up in the second. The solo bomb to tie things up. Ross, veteran, 4 home runs last year. That's a big-time swing. Turn things over now to Brady Birchmeyer. This is a Bowling Green lineup that is mixed in with veterans like Ross, key sophomores at the top, and then a couple of freshmen as well have been regulars in this lineup.
There are quite a few freshmen in this lineup, as well as sophomores. But Coach Halleck said that it doesn't really matter their age as long as they're all like-minded. He wants to recruit players who are used to winning, recruiting from winning programs and winning summer organizations.
Yeah, there was Coach Halleck there, his 4th season with the Falcons, as Causey able to bounce back after allowing the home run. He sits down Birchmeyer for out number 1.
Coach Frank Anderson happy to see that. His pitcher, after giving up the solo shot, coming back with that big strikeout.
5 batters faced, 4 strikeouts for Causey, and the home run allowed. Again, Causey, SEC Pitcher of the Week opening week. It's fantastic against Texas Tech. 4 2/3, out a run, 2 hits, 7 strikeouts. Got the save last Friday night in Tennessee's opener against UAlbany. Pitched 3 innings. Hit on the ground. Dean Curley is there. The freshman makes the play for round number 2. Tony Vitello mentioned without A.J. Russell, when asked what the plan was earlier in the week, said, you know, we just need to get guys in there that can get outs for us. It's Friday night. You've got to set the tone for the rest of the series, and they trust A.J. Causey to do that.
That's right, Andy. He said, I want guys who are ready to come out and face the first hitter and be really aggressive for us. I want them to be able to do their job, do their role. He said we may have to mesh some outs together with a bunch of different guys, but as long as they're doing their job, I'm happy.
Yeah, the pairing with A.J. Russell and A.J. Causey proved to be pretty lethal. Both two very good pitchers, but different deliveries, different spin on their pitches, and it caused a lot of frustration for Texas Tech opening night.
I'm a fan of A.J. Causey. I like his delivery. I like the movement he has on his ball, really great movement. Also a really good off speed that he's gotten a few strikeouts on so far.
Looks like something broke off of Cal Stark's gear. His armband has to go get that fixed. It's Cal Stark making the start back behind the dish. Catching the balls and strikes for A.J. Causey here on this Friday night. It makes sense since A.J. Causey used to the Friday night roll out of the bullpen just to continue doing what he does on Friday, just in a bit more of an elevated role.
And he's doing exactly what Coach Vitello wants. Whatever role that you're in, whatever your job is for the day, just get out there and do it.
Banjoff laces it up the middle. Hunter Inslee is there. That's out number 3, but a bit of damage done for the Falcons. Tyler Ross ties us up at 1. In prior, and then coming off that UAlbany series midweek game Tuesday against High Point, a very competitive High Point Panthers team that really battled with Tennessee. So Wednesday, this Tennessee team finally got that breather after a good start, hoping to be fresh for this set of 3.
When we asked Coach Vitello what practice was like this week coming off of last weekend, he said the schedule had been very heavy. They had a cram session to try to get everything in. They practiced on Monday, which was normally an off day, to try and get ready for that midweek on Tuesday. And then, like you said, they had Wednesday off. They were finally able to catch their breath and relax a little bit.
And the Volunteers got the job done against UAlbany. Offense really got grooving throughout the series as Robin Villeneuve, big part of that, goes down swinging for out number 1 here in the second.
DJ Newman gets Villeneuve swinging on that off-speed outside. Another strikeout for Newman, and I think this is going to be a pitcher's duel today between Newman and Causey.
That's what you expect here on these Friday nights, is you get your best versus your best just about, and you hope for fireworks. And so far, it has been fast-paced, strikeouts, home runs, all the action you could want.
Yeah, we've seen similar things from both of the offenses and then both of the pitchers. A lot of strikeouts and then 2 solo shots.
Big cut from Dylan Dreiling. The thing about Newman is he works quick. I mean, he is ready to go, almost like a reliever would be out of the bullpen. Sometimes see starters take their time, not Newman.
And that may just be part of his routine. He may just be a pitcher that works quickly. Sometimes that's used as a tactic against the hitters.
Well, he is absolutely grooving. That's back-to-back Ks here in this inning. He's now up to 4.
Beautiful breaking ball by Newman.
And this is a special type of player. Kyle Halleck, I mean, when just talking about him, said, you know, not only is he just a special player for us, but anywhere he would be. Dean Curley puts a charge into 1. The freshman has left the building again. Number 3 for the first-year man.
Wow, 2 solo shots now from the Tennessee Volunteers off of Newman. Both to almost the exact same spot, hitting that top row of the party deck in left field.
Back-to-back innings with solo home runs. Dean Curley continues to impress, and he's got a lot of power for a first-year hitter.
That another pitch elevated in the zone, and Curley, like Amick, knew right away it was gone.
A black eye and all. I mean, he took a fastball right to the helmet in that Sunday finale. Missed that midweek game, but that is a tough player. He wants to be in as much as he can. Cleared the protocol and cleared every possible scenario that you'd use when dealing with a head injury, but still, when dealing with something like that, hard to get right back up in there and hit a home run.
Especially with that head injury, that's not something that you want to play around with. Concussions are so serious. But obviously he's mentally and physically tough, getting back out there and performing well, already defensively getting an out, and now offensively hitting an absolute shot to left field.
Yeah, both these Tennessee home runs traveled about 418 feet distance-wise. 113 off the bat for Amick, 109 off the bat for Curley. Those a pair of home runs anywhere you put them. First at bat for Cal Stark, the 2-2 pitch. He goes down swinging. Newman, 3 strikeouts in the inning. He strikes out the side, but once again, the Volunteer bats get a solo home run. Dean Curley puts Tennessee back in front.
Before the game even started, 21 years does not feel like that was just 2003.
No, and then again, it's just with how close proximity these two schools are, you feel like at least maybe a midweek here and there, but no, it has been that long, and now these schools have certainly given us a fun first 2 innings. It feels like both teams are going high tempo to start. Hasn't really been a chance to breathe yet.
No, this is probably one of the fastest baseball games I've ever been a part of. A lot of quick outs and then those solo shots. This may be a game that's won off of solo home runs.
Yeah, both pitchers, they are throwing at a high tempo, and then seen a lot of strikeouts, and then obviously 3 home runs. Knew both these teams hit a lot of home runs coming into this weekend, and so far living up to the advertisement. Freshman catcher Garrett Wright will lead off this inning for the Falcons. A.J. Causey through 2 now. Wright goes chasing the fastball down and away. Causey has another strikeout. That's number 5.
I love this pitch. I love the movement of that pitch and how it just drops right out of the zone. Gets Wright swinging and missing. And I love that he wasn't afraid to go to that pitch with a 3-2 count. He still went with his pitcher's pitch, and it worked out for him.
9-hole hitter T.J. Tackett's first pitch. He liked it right back up the middle. And how about Causey fielding his position?
That's one thing that I noticed about A.J. Causey was how well he fields his position. This is a hard ball hit right back at him. He gloves it no problem. He also had a really great play against Texas Tech where a line drive was hit right back at him and he threw his glove out there and caught it.
2 up, 2 down here in the home or top of the third, visitor half of the third. Back to the top of the order, DJ Newman. True pitchers matchup here. Newman lost the first battle at the plate. He struck out to start this ball game. And you saw that movement on the last strikeout from Causey, just the way he releases that ball. There's a lot of run on that pitch. Once again, right back up the middle to him. High chopper, down goes Newman. 1, 2, 3 for A.J. Causey. Both pitchers settling in here in Knoxville. Up spot, and right now it is a blank slate. 2 more weekends of non-conference play, and then it's SEC season for Bowling Green. On the other side, Maction starts next week. This is their last non-conference weekend before they head conference play.
It's crazy that it starts that early, going to Miami, Ohio next weekend.
Yeah, so for the Falcons, this is really the last tune-up, and it's hard to say anything is a tune-up with Tennessee. It's not. This is the hardest weekend so far on their schedule, maybe all year. You're on the road against a top 10 team, but again, it's just that experience of playing at Tennessee. It's going to help you in the long run, and this Bowling Green team is good enough to, you know, maybe steal a game here from Knoxville. At Miami, Ohio next weekend. That starts MAC play. They're not at home until the end of March. They haven't played a home game all season, and their first 2 weekends of conference play on the road as well.
I'm sure that's a tactic by Coach Halleck, trying to get his players comfortable playing at places that aren't home. Also playing against really high-quality teams like Tennessee, trying to prepare his guys best he can.
Two count. Hunter Inslee in the 9-hole. Gets to start out in center field. He'll foul another one off. DJ Newman almost once through this Tennessee lineup. Struck out the side last go-round, but also has allowed 2 solo home runs. It's been the damage so far. Worth noting coming into this game, DJ Newman had never allowed a home run.
That's a big stat as a pitcher. And then to all of a sudden give up 2 back-to-back in one game.
Granted, he is a sophomore, so he's still young into what is going to be a successful career, but 28 1/3 last year without allowing a home run. First 2 starts, no home runs. And this is a battle to start the bottom of the 3rd. Hunter Inslee hanging on, 3-2 count.
Coach Halleck said that DJ Newman is a special pitcher because he has several ways of being able to beat the hitter. Walks Inslee there on a ball outside.
Yeah, that's an impressive at-bat from Inslee. He battled and battled, drove up that pitch count as well, and to lead off the inning, be that leadoff runner. That's huge.
Coach Halleck said Newman has 3 outlier pitchers, his changeup, his fastball, and his breaking ball. It allows him to be successful being able to throw hitters off. You never really know what he's going to come with, whereas most pitchers usually just have 1 outliers pitcher that they go to.
He doesn't walk a lot of batters either, Kalen. 33 strikeouts, 5 walks all last season. Have to deal with Hunter Inslee now at first. Christian Moore back in for another go. He struck out back in the first, 0 for 1. Spearhead of this Tennessee offense, 28 career home runs. Tennessee as a team, 41 runs last weekend. That sweep over Albany. 21 of them came on that Saturday win. Moore waits on the off speed, puts it right into center, base hit, and he's aboard. 2-1 to start the inning.
Christian Moore, a player that's progressed physically and mentally since his first year as a Tennessee Vol. That pitch kind of hits it off the end, but so strong, able to push it out into center field and get a single.
That's 2 on now for Blake Burke. He's 0 for 1, ground out in the first. 273 average to start the year, 3 RBIs and a home run. First pitch, laced into right. Another base hit for Tennessee. Hard round from third. Here comes Inslee to the plate. That's an RBI for Burke. Ball gets away. Christian Moore will stay put. Burke to second. Tennessee adds on another. They lead now by 2 runs.
This pitch lined on the ground, almost hits Moore. Some great heads-up base running from Inslee and Christian Moore and Blake Burke. Now putting the Vols ahead by 2 with Billy Amick, who's already taken one long earlier in this game.
Yeah, this middle of the Tennessee lineup is so strong. I mean, you got a guy like Blake Burke hitting second, even Christian Moore, who probably could be a middle-of-the-order guy as well and has been in some games this year. Leading off, it's an impressive lineup top to bottom, but that middle group, top half of the lineup is really dangerous.
Definitely, and Coach Vitello spoke to how they had changed the lineup a few times putting guys in different places, different positions. He said it really depends on, one, who's hitting well, and then two, the matchup. Who do they think is going to be most successful in the order against a certain pitcher? And I'm sure they put a lot of thought into that against the arm of Newman.
Big RBI spot for Billy Amick. Has 14 RBIs on the year already and 5 home runs. Fouls one back. 1-2 start. DJ Newman now in a bit of a jam. He somewhat cruised through the first 2 innings. Aside from the 2 solo home runs, he had 5 strikeouts of the 6 outs. But here in the third, he's let the first 3 Volunteers aboard.
I think that's the biggest difference between the offenses here. This Tennessee offense has definitely adjusted since their first time through the order. They're seeing the ball better now and making things happen.
Infield playing in with 2 in scoring position. 1 out. Newman fires, and Amick takes. Count runs full. See how Newman handles this situation. A chance to buckle down and not let things get out of hand. A real situation where you can see a spiral. Amick lunges out for one. That's heading down the right field line. Kraus over in foul territory has it. Christian Moore will tag up and he will score. Sacrifice fly for Billy Amick. Second run of the inning for Tennessee.
And that's just an unselfish at bat right there. Amick doing what he can to hit the ball to that right side of the field so that he can score more.
Now batting the right fielder, number 21.
Situational hitting at its finest.
Second RBI of the ball game for Billy Amick. Tennessee by 3. That's still just the first out in the third. Now Kavares Tears back in. Had a very quick at-bat in the first inning. 3-pitch strikeout. One of the most improved players in this Tennessee lineup. Showed off a lot of power last season, but it's coming together to where he can hit it to both ends of the field. He can go pull side, and then he's had a couple of Oppo home runs as well. He had a home run into the wind over the right field wall down the line on Tuesday, and then had a double that went the opposite way off the wall and left.
Super impressive by Tears, just being so strong, such good barrel control. Coach Vitello said that through his maturity and through his growth here since his first year and after redshirting, he's probably the most well-rounded player that they have.
Tears opposite way at the track, picked up from Tackett's. Blake Burke's going to tag up, so that's back-to-back sacrifice flies for Tennessee. Situational AB for Kavares Tears.
Great job by Tears, getting things done for his team. Adding another run to the board by scoring Burke, just passing the bat.
Tony Vitello has to be pleased with his at-bats so far. There were some moments in that U-Albany series where Tennessee struggled out of the gates and they relied on that big inning, which isn't a problem, but it's been consistent offense here so far through 3 innings as Robin Villeneuve will end this frame. Kraus underneath, out number 3. Volunteers looking good. The offensive side of things as we've played 3. It's top 10 in the RPI every single year.
Extremely competitive. A lot of good teams coming out of that conference, a lot of good players. Coach Halleck said that he feels good. He feels good about where his team is at right now going into conference play. He said his team has a lot of mental toughness and a lot of fight. They put in the work. They come back from big losses, and they don't fold. They come in and do whatever they can to try and pull away with the win.
I think the key is this is season number 4 for Kyle Halleck, so still a work in progress, still building things up. Was a pitching coach at Bowling Green before time under longtime head coach of the Falcons, Danny Schmitz, who won 7 MAC championships, 700-plus wins. He is Bowling Green baseball. So Kyle Halleck knows that history, still eats lunch every month with Danny Schmitz, and he says this team's not going to be content. These players won't be content until they're back on top of the MAC and winning championships. Sam Seidel starts the inning with a walk. Throw down from Cal Stark. That erases it.
Outstanding heads-up play by Stark. Beautiful throw down, getting the out, shifting that momentum back to the Tennessee side.
Tennessee has a wealth of options at that catcher spot. Really for the first time, maybe in the Tony Vitello era, maybe since 2019. But Cal Stark, everyday guy last season, progressed so much as a defender. He's who they really like as their defensive go-to behind the plate. Has great relationships with the pitchers, and he made a great play there for out number 1. That's a line drive off the bat of Archer right into the mid of Kavaris Tears.
It's so important to have that catcher behind the plate who can lead, who is really, really good at controlling the field and also is able to create those great relationships with his pitchers. If you don't know your pitcher and if you can't get them through a tough situation when they're struggling, you're not doing your job as a catcher, and Cal Stark does that very well.
Expectation is Cal Stark will make starts every single weekend. Doesn't really matter which day it will be. They haven't quite figured out the rotation. Stark started last Friday, but Cannon Peebles obviously an option. Transfer pickup from NC State. He's the offensive catcher who has progressed as well on the defensive end. And then you got Charlie Taylor as well with a lot of experience behind the dish. Two outs in the inning for A.J. Causey. This is the lone damage for Bowling Green. Tyler Ross left the ballpark back in the second. And now we'll test Billy Amick down the third base line. I think that's a foul ball. They're going to bring Tyler Ross all the way back to home.
Right there, yep. Billy Amick on the outside part of the line, foul territory when he throws the ball.
Yeah, home plate umpire Jason Millsap had the hands high when Amick touched that ball. He has good look right down the line. It was close, though.
It was. That was a tough play if it was fair. Amick having to throw it on the run.
2-2, strike 3 as Causey brings Ross to his knees. The sword, huge punch out. Every frame, plated 3 back in the third. DJ Newman back out on the mound. First pitch looks like out number 1. High pop fly in the infield. That's Banjoff calling everyone off.
Good communication there by Banjoff, calling off Newman, and he did exactly what he's supposed to do in that situation, ran over to third to make sure someone was covering.
Number 23, Dean Curley.
Dean Curley with another at-bat. Hit his 3rd home run in just 13 at-bats of his freshman season. I mean, those are numbers of just 13 at-bats. He has been incredible so far in his first week of action. It was a long shot, 418, 109 off the bat.
Makes you really excited to think about the future that he has here, and as he continues to grow and get better each year, what he's going to be able to do for this program.
Shortstop was an open spot on this Tennessee team. No Maui Ahuna after last year. Expectation was that one of these several newcomers would be able to fill that role. And it's kind of been a revolving door. Injuries with Curley. Curley had a hamstring injury opening weekend and then obviously took the hit to the helmet. The black eye kept him out the midweek against High Point, but Other than that, we've seen Christian Moore at shortstop. He has capabilities of playing that role. Alex Perry got the start there on the midweeks. Other freshman Ariel Antigua dealing with a hand injury. He has a chance to be a major answer at shortstop as well.
Coach Vitello spoke to those injuries and how they didn't want to just automatically say, okay, this is who's going to be our shortstop this year. He wanted to wait until everyone was healthy and give everyone the opportunity to show what they can do at that position.
Yeah, Curley may be one of those situations where the bat has been so good to start. How can you not just ride it out and see where it goes? And that's what he's shown so far.
Definitely. If you're not getting the playing time you want, or you want to get out there somehow, get in the lineup. If you're hitting, they're going to find a spot for you on the field.
Tennessee has seen that with a couple of players, but that's what non-conference is all about. Seeing what you got. You don't really know until you go head-to-head with another team. You can play against yourself all you want in off-season, but once you see a different color on the other end, that's when you find out. And players sometimes are better on game days, right?
Oh, definitely. I know I was always better on game days than I was in practice.
There's something about when the lights are turned on, it either can hurt or elevate a player.
Kind of brings out a new level of play. Also going into conference play brings out a new level of play when you start playing against those teams in the SEC. It really shows who is built for this.
0-1 start for Cal Start. Tennessee catcher struck out in the second. DJ Newman threw 3 innings in the third. 5 strikeouts, but 5 runs allowed. 4 of them earned. .43 starts for Stark last season. 180 hitter with 5 home runs and 17 RBIs. He's got 1 hit and 8 at-bats so far this year.
Newman going a lot deeper into counts than he was in the previous innings. Tennessee hitters being a lot more patient at the plate, making him throw some good pitches.
No runs allowed in 7 innings last Friday for DJ Newman, but again, it's one of the more aggressive offenses in the country. Huge test for one of the best arms in the MAC. Counts 3-2. A check over at first. Tennessee has not stolen a lot of bases this year. Only 4 as a team. Half of them are Blake Burke.
He's a good base runner. He advanced earlier on that overthrow to third.
Yeah, just because you steal bases doesn't mean, or just because Tennessee doesn't steal bases doesn't mean they aren't a good base running team. They've been really good around the base paths. There goes Curley on the hit and run action. Cal Stark, deep fly ball right field way. Making the play is Kraus, and Curley will have to scamper back.
Now batting the center fielder, number 9, Hunter Inslee.
Hunter Inslee, one of those players for Tennessee that had a walk earlier today, but has been trying to find himself at the plate.
Good at bat. His first plate appearance in the third. Yeah, not the start he has wanted offensively. 6 hits and 29 at-bats, 207 average, 4 RBIs, no home runs yet. But a guy who was a major piece of Tennessee's Omaha run a season ago. Became everyday center fielder, 50 starts, hit 280, but hit 318 in SEC play. Just got better as the season went along.
Maybe that's the type of hitter he is. Just takes him a little bit to get warmed up and going.
Of course, you want to play your most meaningful baseball at the end of the year, so you'll take progress, but again, this Tennessee offense, it's hard to make the lineup. There are guys in waiting.
Definitely, and that's something that Hunter Inslee has to keep in mind. He's either got to figure out how to turn it on a little bit sooner or his spot might get taken.
On the move is Curly Inslee. That's a high pop fly. Ross all the way over from second, had to backtrack, but stayed strong as through 4 innings.
Yeah, and I mean, as a pitcher, I can speak to this. Giving up a solo shot, it's not something that you want to do, but sometimes it's going to happen. And you've got to be able to move on past it and just continue to do your job, flush it. And A.J. Causey has done a fantastic job of that. He's been really lights out since then.
A seamless transition from A.J. Russell to A.J. Causey here in this Friday night spot. He takes care of Birchmeyer on 3 pitches, out number 1 here in the 5th.
Nice pitch by Causey. Just freezes Birchmeyer for the backwards K.
Yeah, the slider had Birchmeyer frozen. 1 up, 1 down. Jack Krause will stand back in. He's 0 for 1, a ground out in the 2nd. And not only could Causey just be the answer here in the meanwhile while A.J. Russell gets healthy, but Tennessee also in need of that 3rd starter technically on a Sunday. They've been fine so far, but Causey's a guy that could earn a starting role down the stretch, especially with a performance like he's having here night 1 of this series.
I agree, and he's had 2 other great outings outside of this one. He's really been consistent for the Vols pitching staff, so I'm sure that has the coaches thinking, hey, this could be our guy.
And a lot of teams, they don't necessarily operate with the standard, all right, we've got 3 starters, we'll fill in the rest. It's more of like, all right, we are going to focus a game at a time. We might have 1 or 2 guys in set spots, but we want guys to go in when we feel like they're going to get us outs.
Well, there's so many different guys on this roster who bring different things to the table, so it's really going to depend on the matchup and who is going to be the best matchup against whatever offense they're facing that weekend.
Well, A.J. Causey has done fantastic in all the scenarios he has been thrown into here in his first year as a volunteer. Tony Vitale says he has a little bit of dog in him. He just is up for any scenario. He is handling this Friday night start.
And honestly, he looks like he's got that dog in him. Just his facial expressions, like I love how focused and zoned in he looks. He's not showing a whole lot of emotion, so just staying very even keel this entire game, whether he's striking everybody out or when he gave up that solo shot. And that's what you want from your pitcher. You want someone who isn't going to ride the highs too high and the lows too low, just going to stay consistent the entire outing.
2-2 pitch. Causey just misses on the slider. Leighton Banjoff runs it full. Full count pitch. Good AB from a veteran in Banjoff. 353 average to start the year, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. And everything and more they've wanted from him start the year.
Banjoff, that 5th-year senior, bringing in a lot of experience.
It is sat down, A.J. Causey in an absolute groove. His 2nd strikeout of the inning. Over Isaiah Seidel, making his 3rd outing on the year. He'll stand on the mound here to start inning number 5 for the Falcons.
The second baseman, number 1, Christian Moore.
See the numbers already there for Seidel. Through 2 2/3, made 16 outings out of the bullpen for Bowling Green last year, 24 2/3 innings. It's a senior righty, a lot of experience. And we'll try to keep things where they're at.
Starts out almost hitting Christian Moore with that off-speed inside.
And Seidel's going to get the top of this Tennessee order, 1, 2, 3, with Moore, Burke, and Amick. And that's the group that did a lot of damage their last go-around in the third.
It makes sense that they wanted to pull Newman, put in a new pitcher with these hitters coming back up to the plate. Be their third time seeing him today.
This Bowling Green team, they returned several key arms from staff last season. They were third in the MAC in total team ERA, so good numbers last year. But the feeling is they're still a few really good outings away from being a complete pitching team. Goal of this group, all right, let's get ahead in counts. Let's not get too far behind those 2 strike advantages. Feeling that mentality to this group. That time Seidel could not get in front of Christian Moore. That's ball 4.
Nice job by Moore as the leadoff. Seeing a lot of pitches and getting walked now for Blake Burke.
Yeah, final 2 games of that Memphis series for Bowling Green, not their best in terms of pitching on the mound. Allowed 27 runs those final 2 days. Walked 14 batters as well combined, whereas they had only walked 12 in their 4 games prior. And with how competitive Tennessee has been, and we've seen the situational hitting, they're not going to chase too many bad pitches.
No, and when you know you're facing a lineup like that who can provide the power and then also is very good at situational hitting, walks are detrimental. You want to limit the free passes. With that pass ball, now having Christian Moore in scoring position.
Into scoring position, no outs in the inning. Blake Burke was able to pick up an RBI his last at-bat in the third. RBI number 4 on the year for Tennessee's big hitting lefty. And off speed is down and inside. Ball 2. Falcons have rotated 14 different arms to start the season. 11 already with multiple outings through 2 weekends. No midweek games for the Falcons so far this year. And it has been a Tennessee tour. Coach Halleck and his group. Murfreesboro, Memphis, and now Knoxville, as they get ready for MAC play next week.
All very good teams, MTSU, Memphis, and now University of Tennessee.
Off speed to Burke. He's going opposite way. Back at the wall, and it's gone. Blake Burke has left the building. A Burke blast. Tennessee, their 3rd long ball here of the afternoon.
This Tennessee offense really coming alive tonight. Absolutely killer.
That's a 2nd home run on the year for Blake Burke. Back-to-back Friday nights with the blast, and both of them opposite field.
This pitch elevated on the outside corner, and I mean, the power behind Burke, like you said, hitting it opposite field. Going back to what I said earlier about how detrimental walks are, could have been a solo shot, but because of that walk to Christian Moore now, the Vols able to add 2 more to the scoreboard. There's Burke in the cheetah print jacket.
Yeah, it is cold enough here in this game on opener that Burke might not take that off the rest of the night.
I wouldn't. It looks warm.
He's even under the heaters there in the dugout with the fur coat on. And Burke has really opened things up now in the 5th. Volunteers by 6 runs. Bases empty for Billy Amick and no outs. If you're Isaiah Seidel, you're almost treating this like, hey, this is a fresh start to the inning.
That's what you have to do. You have to be able to flush whatever just happened. Forget about it, move on. Also have to be really sharp here against Billy Amick.
0-2, Amick catches the breaking ball, right center gap, back at the wall, and this one leaves the yard. It's a 2-home run afternoon for Billy Amick.
Amick seeing the ball so well today. Home run number 6 now. He's pulling away from Kavaris Tears, solidifying himself as the home run leader for the Volunteers.
Billy barrels in true form. No doubter to left. That one to right center, and it's back-to-back home runs for Tennessee.
And that's how you know that a hitter is good, when they're able to hit 2 home runs in the same game.
The crazy thing, Tennessee effective right out of the gates here in the 5th. Started with that walk from Christian Moore. Burke brought him in, and then Billy Amick as well. This Tennessee offense, I already mentioned, one of the best in the country at the long ball. They have added 4 more to their count already here in game 1 of the weekend.
I believe that puts them at 20 now as a team.
It's a Tennessee offense that's really where they've made their living last few years. It's been 3 straight years of truly dominant offense under Tony Vitello, hitting coach Josh Elander. 386 home runs the last 3 seasons coming into this year, so that's in the 400s now. Kavaris Tears, he gets aboard. That's his first base hit of the afternoon. Had the sac fly RBI in the 3rd. Keeps things rolling here in the 5th.
Now batting the designated hitter, number 7.
Kavaris Tears, one of the most well-rounded players for the Vols, has really put in the work in the offseason, and we've seen it pay off so far. One of the most consistent hitters across the board.
Robin Villeneuve still looking to get his afternoon going. He's been one of the hottest hitters on this Tennessee team. He is 0 for 2 to start his night. You see the early numbers, 500 average, 2 home runs, and 9 RBIs. And that runs in and hits Villeneuve. He'll take first. He's a bit fired up as well.
It's not how you want to start off as a new pitcher,
Now batting the left fielder,
with a hit and then a hit batter. I'm sure Bowling Green really feeling the pressure right now to get out of this inning. Tennessee feeling the momentum on their side.
Yeah, it can be contagious. In Tennessee, a couple instances against UAlbany last week really thrived off the big inning.
Coach Vitello spoke to that when asked, why does your team have so many just big innings? You have 1 inning where things really seem to turn around. And he said, I think my guys feed off of each other. When one gets a hit, it inspires the next one, and then it becomes like a domino effect. However, this Tennessee team today has had a few good innings, scoring in almost every one up to now.
Dylan Dreiling 0 for 2. Pair of Volunteers on with no one out. Opportunity still here. Dreiling reaches out for one. That's center field. Backing up is Archer. He's deep and he's got it. Tagging is Tears from second, so runners on the corners now after 1 out.
Sacrifice fly by Dreiling puts Tears in a great position to score at third base.
Number 23, Dean Curley.
And Dean Curley coming up to the plate, one of the home run hitters earlier in this game.
Yeah, Curley was the second of what is now 4 home runs for Tennessee. That puts this Tennessee group up to 21 on the year. It's now tied Tied for 5th in the country. Georgia leads the way with 27. Charlie Condon, right there among the nation's best, had 3 home runs in the midweeks. Curley again shooting one pretty well struck into right field. Kraus has it. Tears is tagging up. It's good enough for another run. Dean Curley adds another RBI to his line.
And the Vols are just laying it on the Falcons. They've put their foot to the gas and doesn't look like they're letting up anytime soon.
Now batting, the catcher, number 10, Cal Stark.
Curley does his job. That is the 3rd sacrifice fly for Tennessee in this ball game. Second at bat for Cal Stark takes strike 1. He is 0 for 2, a strikeout back in the 2nd, then flyout victim in the 4th. Four runs for Tennessee here in the 5th. In Tennessee, the big inning last weekend. Last Friday, they had 5 runs in the 3rd. And then Saturday in Game 2 against UAlbany, they had 9 runs in the 4th inning after being scoreless the first 3. This is the biggest inning this offense had so far, but it's been consistent all afternoon so far.
It has been consistent, and not to say that the big innings aren't important, because they are. Usually games are won and lost in one big inning, but as a coaching staff, you feel confident when you see your offense producing every single inning. And I know as a pitcher, it also makes you feel good knowing you can take a little bit of pressure off of yourself because your offense is doing so well.
Stark puts a charge into one, left field side. It's going to get foul. At home run type distance. Stark nearly hit his first home run of the season last Friday night in the opener against the Great Danes. It was called a home run. He ran all the way around the bases, and they said, no, that was a foul ball.
That's just mean.
Especially once you've made the trot.
Right.
At that point. And Stark will go down swinging. That's out number 3 of the inning. So Luke Kraus shuts down the home half of the 5th, but Tennessee, 4th spot, they've extended their lead.
To start off SEC conference play.
Up the middle, A.J. Causey staying busy from a defensive end. It's the 3rd play he's made from the mound. A quick out, number 1 in the 6th. He is continuing to cruise here in his first start with Tennessee.
I love a good PFP, otherwise known as pitcher's fielding practice. We've seen a few of those now from Causey. Does a great job of fielding his position.
TJ Tackett's his second at bat. He's 0 for 1. He was one of those PFPs. Kalen went 1-3 back in the 3rd.
I think it's so important for pitchers to be able to field their position and to be able to throw. You want to be that extra infielder, not rely just on the others around you.
Quick 0-2 count with the 9-hole hitter. Causey has another K. That's number 9.
One more K for Queso.
Causey is absolutely dealing tonight. Nasty breaking ball going down in the zone from Causey. Gets the swing and miss. He's on fire tonight.
And Tennessee is letting him stay out there. He's thrown 5 2/3 now. That pitch count now at 67, so still hasn't really hit his limit. No true word on his limit from Tony Vitello, but in previous outings, Coach Vitello said he hadn't even gotten to the point where technically had hit his limit. That Texas Tech game ended before he had hit it, and then same with UAlbany last week. Just didn't get to a point where he really had his full go. That ball is put in play. Amick is there. 1, 2, 3 inning. You have innings like this, you're going to stay out there.
That's what I was going to say. When you're this efficient, why take him out? He's absolutely killing it. Fun to see the little fans coming out to watch baseball, watch some of their favorite players do their thing, especially when the Tennessee offense is producing like this. And A.J. Causey throwing the gem that he is, I'm sure it makes the cold just a little bit more bearable.
Yeah, last weekend against UAlbany, Tennessee set their home weekend series attendance record. Of course, renovations done. Lindsey Nelson Stadium in the offseason. A lot of it down that left field side. Permanent bleachers added by a new little table porch section there. You got the tent. This stadium is slowly and steadily becoming one of the premier venues in college baseball. Still more to come as Hunter Inslee puts one up the middle. And again, pitcher in on the action as Luke Krause has out number 1.
Now batting the second baseman, number 1, Christian.
This ball bounced right back to Krause. Hits off his glove, but it's okay. He stays calm, able to make the throw to first to get the out.
Inslee 0 for 2, back to the top of the order for Tennessee. This has been the standout portion for Tennessee in this one. Christian Moore 1 for 2. He has scored 2 runs. He walked back in the 5th and scored off that Blake Burke home run. Times last year where Moore went through some cold stretches, but he ended strong. 11 home runs his final 24 games. That's a rip down the left field way. Just foul.
Christian Moore turns and pulls this ball just barely foul down the left field.
Just always a tough at-bat. That's what you want in your leadoff spot, obviously. Led the team on base percentage and walks a season ago.
Definitely. The leadoff should be your hardest out. They should be the player in the lineup who is really good at pitch recognition, who can see whether it's a ball or a strike, going to make the pitcher throw a lot of pitches, which is exactly what Christian Moore is doing here. But then is also consistently able to get on base for those big power hitters coming up behind them.
3-2, Moore, hot shot third base way. Banjoff blocks it, throw across the diamond. Oh, he did make the play.
And that was a close one there for Moore and Banjoff. Hard hit ball rockets off the glove of Banjoff, but he turns and fires it. And that is close. It looks like they might be going to review it.
That's close. A little snow cone effort from Birchmeyer on the scoop.
And I do think that that is an out. Birchmeyer scoops it right here, and it is in the glove.
Yeah, that looks like a good call from first base ump Tyler Simpson. I mean, Moore hit it so hard on the ground that by the time Banjoff was able to even recover from bobbling it, it was almost like a normal ground ball. So it's going to stand. That's a good play from Banjoff. Good scoop from Birchmeyer across the diamond.
Still a quality plate appearance by Moore. Getting the count 3-2 and then a close play at first.
Blake Burke will stand in with no one on and 2 outs here in the 6th. RBI single in the 3rd and a 2-run home run last inning. Almost went around on the off speed, lays off. Burke, a preseason All-American. 16 home runs a year ago. Now has 32 career home runs as a Tennessee Volunteer. He's getting closer to tying the career mark of Luke Lipsius at 40 all time. That's the most in a Tennessee uniform.
Coach Vitello said that he just wants Blake Burke to be Blake Burke. Said he wants him to come out and just try to do the best that he can. He often gets compared to a few really good Tennessee hitters from past seasons, but he said he wants him to shut all of that out and just focus on being himself.
There'll be a lot of pressure being that everyday guy right in the middle of the lineup trying to produce game in and game out. Did Burke go around? They're going to say he did. Matthew Bates says that is strike 3, and that ends the inning. 1-2-3 for Luke Krause, a scoreless 6 for the Volunteers.
Coach Vitello really has done a great job with this program. Having gone to the College World Series in 21 and 23, bringing in high quality players and transfers.
And his 7th season on Rocky Top now is nearing 250 wins as a head coach. 2-time National Coach of the Year. Took a Tennessee program that hadn't even been to a regional since 2005 and has brought them consistent prominence year in and year out. Sam Seidel out to left field. Plays made from Dylan Dreiling, out number 1.
Dreiling, such a good left fielder for Tennessee. I've seen him make some pretty incredible plays so far this season.
His first year as an everyday outfielder. Starting left field for him. Ethan Archer back in. He's 0 for 2. A.J. Causey has been a difficult one to figure out.
He has. He's been extremely efficient so far in this game, only giving up that solo shot.
Good rip from Archer on a dive. Kavaris Tears has it. Web jam out and right.
Wow, what an amazing hustle play by Kavaris Tears. Scared me. At first I thought I just jinxed him, saying that he had only had that one hit up until this point, but Tears said, hey, I'm going to put in the work for you.
What a grab from Tears. The crew might want a second opinion on this from the replay, but that's a catch.
That's definitely a catch. He gets his glove all underneath it.
He's saying, no, I didn't drop it.
Love that.
Hunter Inslee yelling across the field. Kavaris knows. I mean, that was an incredible effort. We have seen some good defense from Tennessee, but Kavaris Tears has been one of the highlight defenders. That was part of his game he was working on last year. He has been so strong no matter where you put him in the outfield. That's a great play.
Yeah, that's definitely a catch. Gets the glove underneath it and secures the ball.
And here's your best look at it there. And you see ball to mid pretty clearly.
Definitely. And it does have to be completely irrefutable evidence for them to change the call, and I don't think that they can take anything away from that.
And the crew confirms what we saw as well. Kavaris Tears locked down and right.
Now batting, second baseman, number 18.
He's not just power on the offensive end, but he has shown off some versatility this year from a defensive angle. He's been really good run the bases as well, becoming an all-around tool in the middle of this lineup and in the corner outfield. And he backed up A.J. Causey in a big way.
Definitely. I know that Causey super happy that he's got Tears out there.
Out to center, here's Hunter Inslee. Another 1-2-3 inning. A lot of help from a massive play. get back to the plate. They'll face new righty Owen Poole, just a freshman. He's only thrown a third of an inning so far in his career, Kalen.
I'm sure they want to try to get him some experience here. I mean, why not? When you're down by 8, might as well throw the freshman in there, get him some experience against a high-quality offense.
Yeah, and he faces the heart of this Tennessee lineup. It's not easy when you haven't faced too many hitters in your career and you get Billy Amick, who's sitting on a 2-home-run game already, leading off the 7th.
As a freshman, definitely not the first batter that I would want to face.
He's got Amick, Tears, and Villeneuve all due up here in the home half of the 7th inning. Volunteers by 8 runs. First pitch, a little bit wild, out of the zone. Amick, a 2-home run afternoon to start the weekend. He's got 6 home runs now on the year with 16 RBIs.
Nice pitch by the freshman Poole, getting Amick swing and miss at that outside pitch.
The only thing he might be upset about, there wasn't runners on when he went yard both times. Pair of solos. Amick, foul ball, pretty well hit. Here's a look at the damage that Amick has done. Again, one to left and then one to right center.
That's how you know that you have a good hitter on your hands, when they're able to hit 2 home runs in one game, but opposite field. Billy Amick going yard in left and right.
First inning and the 5th inning. First multi-home run game as a Volunteer. And he has been such a big get for this crew from the transfer portal. Showing off why. Had 13 home runs last season as a sophomore, almost halfway there now. And now no need to really swing the bat there on the 3-2 pitch. Amick will lead off with a walk.
Makes sense. Not wanting to give him anything too good to hit. Throwing all around the zone. But unfortunately for this Bowling Green pitcher, now he has to face Kavaris Tears, who has just as much power potential as Amick.
Yeah, Tears is 1 for 2, a single. He later scored in the 5th inning. Then a good sacrifice fly in the 3rd. That's a good fastball there, 90, strike 1 from Owen Poole. Tears only played in 29 games last season. 14 starts, dealt with some minor injuries throughout the year. Tough to find real consistency, but played in meaningful games. 8 SEC starts as this one is skied in the infield. Hanging around, play made by Banjoff for out number 1.
And in a world today where, with the transfer portal, so many people can leave when they're not happy with their playing time or, you know, whatever it may be. Nowadays, it's a lot of people looking for NIL money. But Tears decided to put in the work, grind, and now he's become an extremely talented, effective player on all aspects of the game for Tennessee.
Tony Vitello certainly utilized the transfer portal. I got this guy, Dalton Bargo, standing in for his first at-bat of the game. 6 Division I transfers this year, but he truly loves that developmental aspect of the game. And he trusts in his crew's ability to recruit and then get them to a level where they can be SEC ready. You know, always take a talent like Billy Amick and a guy like Dalton Bargo.
Definitely the transfer portal has completely changed the game, allowing these phenomenal players who maybe, you know, weren't as happy where they started out or thought it was going to be one way, ends up being another way, able to jump in the portal and still play high-level baseball.
Bargo transfers over to Knoxville from Missouri with the Tigers in the SEC last season, and he's coming off a really good week last week against UAlbany. Went 5 of 8 in that series with a home run and 4 RBIs. .279 hitter with Missouri a season ago in 45 starts, hit 5 home runs, had 23 RBIs. 2-2, the breaking ball from Poole will sit down Bargo.
Nice pitch by Poole. Getting Bargo swinging and missing for out number 2. This has been one of the most effective innings for Bowling Green since the beginning of the game.
Dylan Dreiling in on the left-hand side. He's 0 for 3. He's looking to join in on the fun. This Tennessee offense, he pretty good to start the season. An average now at .258, home run and 4 RBIs. That's a good off-speed from Owen Poole. He's handled this bulk of the Tennessee lineup pretty well. That leadoff walk, he's bounced back for 2 straight gets.
Showing a lot of maturity as a freshman pitcher right now. Facing this lineup, extremely difficult, but he's handling it well.
Dreiling, hot shot into right field. It's a base hit. Amick's going to get to third. First hit on the afternoon for Dylan Dreiling.
That's the mental toughness that you want to see from your player. Dreiling going 0 for 3 so far today, but staying in it, not giving up. Now putting his teammate Amick in a really good position to score another run.
And that's just the mentality of this Tennessee crew. You know, trusting in your approach just because you don't have the start you want. Continuing to stay at it. They've seen good results happen. Dylan Dreiling, his first hit, he's 1 for 4. Now Dean Curley, and Bowling Green's got to be careful here in the bottom of the 7th. The run rule is in effect this weekend. So that winning run, technically winning run, is on first base.
Curley already today hitting one out of the park, so definitely has the potential.
Curling, high chopper up the middle. Play could have been made at either bag, but Ross goes to first for out number 3. So that concludes the 7th. Volunteers by. We'll take over from what Causey has done in this game. Causey 7 innings, and you mentioned it, just the 1 hit, that home run from Tyler Ross. Bounced back after that home run in a big way. 9 strikeouts for Causey. That's a season best. Just 78 pitches in 7 innings. He worked very efficiently.
That's so efficient. I mean, you can't really ask for better when it comes to those numbers. Sure, Coach Vitello, Coach Frank Anderson, very proud of A.J. Causey and what he did today.
He retired the final 11 Falcons he faced. Bowling Green hasn't had a base runner since they walked back in the 4th.
And Causey, he can thank Tears for that. A hit almost happened there in the last inning, but Tears made that incredible diving play to keep the runner off and to keep it a 1-hitter. One and 2 is the count. As Bowling Green gets the first look at Dylan Loy. And pitch runs outside. It's Caden Parker
at the plate. The junior pinch hitting for Brady Birchmeyer, his first at bat. At 2-2, sent over to first. Blake Burke is there. Calls off Loy, steps on the bag.
Easy play by Burke for the first out of this inning.
1 up, 1 down for Dylan Loy. I mean, that fastball is not going to blow you by. Sits around upper 80s, but has looked really good with the off-speed stuff. That curveball and changeup has been real good. That's 88 on the fastball for strike one. Another pinch hitter for Bowling Green. We'll throw in Gavin Ganun.
And Loy really sticking to the plan that Coach Vitello wanted to see from his pitchers, going out and attacking the hitters, getting that first out, and now doing a good job of throwing a first pitch strike to Ganan.
That 1-1 appeal down the first. I don't know if we ever got the decision there.
I'm not sure either. I never saw him.
Counts 1-2. Tyler Simpson said, nope, not going to give a decision there. That's going to be ball 2. 2-2 is the count. First at bat for Ganun. 2 hits and 9 at bats this season. Bases empty for Bowling Green. Swung through it. Ganun goes down. Dylan Loy has a strikeout. Sophomore Ohio native. He'll jump out onto the mound here in the bottom of the 8th.
Bowling Green trying to throw different looks at this Tennessee offense, trying to keep them off balance.
Yeah, this Tennessee offense at this point, up 8 runs, might throw some different looks at Bowling Green. Charlie Taylor is going to get an at-bat. He steps in Cal Stark's spot. Taylor is now true veteran on this team, and he's a crowd favorite. Redshirt junior. Started 21 games, played in 44 last season. He kind of rotated with Cal Stark at that catcher spot, especially early in the season. Took good strides as a hitter, but really leads from a defensive standpoint.
Coach Vitello wanting to get his players as many opportunities as possible. You want to get them as much experience as you can early on in the year so that they're ready when their name is called.
That 2-2 is low. Yeah, this is a deep Tennessee offensive lineup. It's almost like opposites. Tennessee's offense, a lot of options, whereas Tennessee's pitching staff, some of the injuries they've dealt with, they're going to have some guys step up and also fight for innings, but they're going to need guys to step up, whereas offense, it's difficult every single game to decide who those 9 are going to be.
And at least they have the depth in their offense.
Charlie Taylor takes one off the shoulder, and he's on base with a smile.
Off the shoulder, maybe even a little bit the Evo shield. Free pass for Taylor. But going back to what I was saying, you want your offense to be able to pick up where you lack defensively, and if pitching is somewhere that they're struggling with, having enough arms, a lot of injuries, you're happy to have that deep offense being able to score 9 runs and keep the game alive.
Reese Chapman gets an at-bat. Here in the 9-hole, takes over for Hunter Inslee, sophomore from Parker, Colorado. 263 hitter last season with 7 RBIs. He's had a few opportunities to start this season. He would be a contender for that right field spot, really any outfield spot. Kavaris Tears might have completely locked down another outfield spot at this point, taking away an option there. And that ball hits Reese Chapman. Back-to-back hit batters from Cade Arn. 2 on with no outs in the 8th.
Arn struggling a little bit to find control here. That ball tips right off the Evo shield.
Your attention, please.
And now, again with the run rule, it's weird because Tennessee obviously only needs 3 more outs in the top of the 9th, but the winning run is on first. Hunter High, a freshman, will stand in. First pitch outside. Hunter High, a Tennessee native, played his high school ball at Lipscomb Academy.
Coach Vitello plugging in a lot of hitters this inning who normally we don't see in the lineup. We don't really know how it's going to play out, though. We hope to see good things from these young players.
3 at-bats this year for High, no hits yet. And 1-1, rolled over second base way. Ross only plays to first, so it's productive as both runners move up a base.
Maybe Arn can take a sigh of relief here, having 1 out under his belt. Try to focus in here, find the zone.
Tony Vitello unloading the bench. Ethan Payne is going to get an at-bat. Much different from Hunter High. This is an experienced 5th-year guy out of Memphis, Tennessee. Played in 14 games last season. 45 career appearances coming in to this year. RBI chance. First pitch, that's going to drop in for a base hit. Chapman will hold up at third, so it will not win the game. But Tennessee now 90 feet away from closing things down in the 8th. RBI for Ethan Payne.
That's what you want to see from your pinch hitters, coming in and making a difference. Ethan Payne rocketing this ball to right field, scoring another run for Tennessee.
Maybe one of those situations where Josh Elander pumped the brakes, say, hey, let's get one more at bat here. Chapman held up at third. And now Colby Backus, a chance to win the game here in the bottom of the 8th. The elusive run rule walk-off. Of course, there are still 2 more games this weekend between these programs. First meeting since '03. It's been a long wait. Drew Beam on the mound for Tennessee. Nick Good for Bowling Green tomorrow.
That'll be a good pitcher's duel as well. Both extremely talented, effective pitchers. Maybe a similar start to what we saw today.
One to Backus, up the middle, in for a base hit, and that's going to end the game. Colby Backus drives in the run rule winning run. And Tennessee is going to take game 1 of this.